And welcome to tonight's game for the Berwyn Heights Sports Network. I'm here with B.A. Moore, our color commentator, Steve Beckham on the camera, our stat man Joe Dennison, and John Marshall over here, Tom Love, ready to throw the ball up. Tip controlled by the blue team. The blue team coached by Mike Rosenthal. It was Steve Cuppy had the ball, knocked away. Andy Harrison controls at the top. Looks like man-to-man defense. No, it's not man, excuse me. Red zoning. Mike Dunn jump shot from the corner, rebound by Keith Brooks. Keith's going to bring the ball up. We'll set the red team. Keith Brooks, Robbie Ingleson at guard, Tom Wolfe, the captain, at center. Shot short by Keith, rebound Steve Cuppy. Steve ahead to Dunn, back to Cuppy. Cuppy with the jump shot, misses, rebound Jimmy White. And why don't you set the blue team for us, B.A.?
Well, out there for the blue team is leading scorer Cuppy at guard. He's got the ball now.
That's Steve Cuppy bringing it down. We'll get the rest of the blue players for you in a moment. Mike Dunn at the wing with the fake pass back to Cuppy, and Cuppy controls up top. Down to Dunn, knocked out of bounds by Tom Wolfe. It'll be blue ball. What kind of offense well, finish with that blue team first, B.A., and then let us know what you think of that offense out there.
Well, that's Cirillo and Rosenthal at the forwards. Dunn, Harrison, and Cuppy playing three-guard offense out there right now, Ed, for the blue team.
Last rebound was by Terry Brennan, strong forward for the Wolf Pack. And that's Keith Brooks brings it up. Tom Wolfe on the high post, dribbles down to the baseline. Turnaround jump shot, rebound by Dunn. Tom going down the right side that time. Dunn's bringing the ball up. Brooks out front. And looks like some kind of 2-3. Wolfe, Jim White sent it right underneath the basket. Dunn out front. Mike Dunn into Rosenthal in the middle. Rosenthal's turnaround jump shot. 2-0 lead for the blue team.
Yeah, the red team was in a 2-3 zone there, Ed, with Tom Wolfe in the middle trying to clog things up. It didn't work. Rosenthal for 2 points.
That's Jim White with the turnaround jump shot answers. 2-2, 6 minutes and 1 second to play in the first period. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay the same way. Cuppy across the middle. Steve Cuppy with the jump shot. Makes it 4-2.
Cuppy hitting his first shot there, very important. Out 4 weeks with an ankle injury, first game back, and he looks like he hasn't lost a step.
Tom Wolfe with the rebound of a missed shot, misses. Mike Dunn with the rebound, and down at the other end, it looks like blue in a man-to-man defense. Mike Rosenthal pulls up at the free throw line. Nice fake, left-handed dribble. A little unorthodox shot, but Mike scoops it in underneath Tom Wolfe. And here's Keith Brooks bringing it up. Mike, I think, being real. There's Keith trying to feed the ball inside to Jimmy White, knocked out of bounds. Mike Dunn just lost control. Mike Dunn with the retrieval. Nice pass by Cuppy back to Dunn. Dunn with the jump shot. He buries it. And that makes it 8-2. Blue with an early lead. And Blue's out here man-to-man against Red. How about some of these matchups, B.A.?
Well, both teams in a zone defense. Both teams playing a 2-3, so the matchups won't be a critical factor. But Blue controlling the transition game right now, Ed, with an 8-4 lead. Terry Brennan on that.
Terry Brennan with the hit. That's Steve Cuppy off to the side. Andy Harrison controls out front. Keith still back there on defense. Steve Cuppy with the dribble around, and Steve drops it through. Keith's going to bring it up, and yeah, no, I got the feeling that Blue is playing man. They may be playing a little loose and with a lot of switching. Here's Cuppy bringing it down the middle. A nice-looking fast break. Pass just behind Mike Rosenthal. He can't control. They'll come back. Now, Blue trying to cover Tom Wolfe. Let's see. Yeah, he's going to stay with him. And that's a matchup that I think I might want to take advantage of. Brian's big, strong guy, but Tom's got a lot of nifty moves inside, and that's just what they're going to do. Now, double dribble with Tom trying to make that turnaround move. 10-4. Blue team winning with 4 minutes to go in the first period. Cuppy's going to bring it up. And now it looks more like a 1-2-2 maybe with Robbie at the point. Keith and Terry posted up on the foul line for the red team. Andy Harrison handling the ball. Mike Dunn with that jump shot. Mike Dunn hits from the wing. Mike averaging 10 or 12 points a game, I think. Good outside shooter. Robbie Ingleson brings it up, guarded by Cuppy. Robbie with the jump shot buries that. How about Robbie's outside shooting, B.A.?
Well, as we start out here, it seems like Cuppy versus Ingerson from the outside. But Robbie Ingerson's outside shooting will not win this game for the red team. It's got to be Tom Wolfe inside if they're going to go all 4 quarters with this blue team, Ed.
Yeah, Robbie's certainly a great streak shooter, but just as you mentioned, a nice block by Jimmy White. Stolen back inside again. but it's going to be blue ball. Mike Dunn with the alert defensive play steals the ball back after Jim White's block. It's knocked out of bounds, but it's going to be blue ball. A Cuppy around to Silk Cirillo. Brian with the outside shot. Misses. Mike Dunn with the tap, and that's Mike Dunn in between Jim White and Tom Wolfe. A fine effort from Michael Dunn. Mike with the strong offensive showing here. Mike covering Terry Brennan. And again, there's the pass inside to Wolfe. Yeah, Wolfe just up and over Silk. But, and we're going to call a jump ball. Brian getting the rebound and Jim White contesting it. It's going to be alternating possession rule in effect here, so it will stay down here and it'll be red ball. Looks to me like Red really ought to try and get it down low, B.A. What do you think here?
Well, with Cirillo covering Wolfe, it's definitely a mismatch, but Cirillo should only concentrate on defense, forget about the offense, and it could work out for Blue.
There's an excellent rebound, offensive rebound by Terry Brennan. Terry brings it back up, scores over Mike Dunn. Mike Rosenthal down the other end after the pass into the post. 16-8, Blue still in front. Wolfpack falling behind early, but certainly they have the offensive weapons. Terry Brennan sets a screen. Robbie with the dribble behind his back. Off-balance shot. Mike McGinnis, though, draws the foul, and we saw a couple of nifty moves by Robbie. Do you think he might have forced that one just a bit, B.A.?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think it's interesting to note that even the team with Tom Wolfe, the Wolfpack, only averaging over the course of the season 233 rebounds is what they got total for the season. The Blue team, with no height seemingly, got 319 rebounds. Significant difference there. So we have to assume that the Blue team is the better rebounding team.
Well, they may not have the size or with the apparent size, but with Mike McGinnis and Brian, they got some good size in the middle. Robbie missing the second one of the two free throws. Steve Cuppy with the rebound. Robbie, one of the better free throw shooters in the league, I believe. Jump shot again, Mike Dunn. And Mike has hit 4 or 5, I think. 5 shots, is that right? So Mike's got 10 of the 18 points, and that's a big factor at this stage of the game. Robbie with the fake. Steve Cuppy goes by. He drills it from the top of the key. 18-10, 1:43 left in the first period. Mike Dunn's going to bring it down, and now here's a little switch. Mike going from the corner out to the top. Cuppy with the jump shot. Tom Wolfe blocks it, and Steve Cuppy has a little problem with his shoulder. Looks like he's going to be okay. He's rubbing it. There's no foul call. It was a clean block by Tom Wolfe. But and again, yeah, looks like a 1-2-2. They're trying to take away those wing jump shots. Here's Mike McGinnis with the long-range jumper. Jimmy White, second leading rebounder in the league. Jimmy White, a freshman. What do you think of him, B.A.?
Well, I think he's definitely the Rookie of the Year, and he allows Tom Wolfe to come out and block shots like the one he just blocked, because Jimmy can cover the inside while Tom's out blocking shots on the perimeter.
Yeah, he's really turned into a find for the Wolfpack for a lot of reasons. Ooh, Mike Dunn with an in and outer, and that's Mike Rosenthal with good inside position. There's a crafty move by Mike Rosenthal. He's a guy that was, I'm sorry, B.A.
Well, there you see why they're leading the league in rebounds, is Rosenthal works so hard, and they just complement each other under there. No one individual standout rebounding-wise. They just all go to the boards. Exactly,
and there's a banged home by young Mr. Brooks. Kurt Brooks hits that jump shot. You can see what they are doing. When Tom Wolfe gets the ball down low, we had both Mike McGinnis, Brian Cirillo, and I think Mike Rosenthal in there, all trying to help out. Rosenthal with the move around, partially blocked, knocked away. McGinnis with the rebound. Jump shot from the corner, Cuppy hits. So Blue, once again, with a good inside game, a surprisingly good inside game, moving the ball around. It's going to be red timeout. 17 seconds to play in the first quarter. Red's down 22-13. What's your impression of that first? What's your impression of that first period, B.A.?
Well, the real surprise is Mike Dunn from the corner for the Blue team, I think, with the 10 points. Cuppy, no surprise for the Blue team. We knew he was going to be the big gun, averaging 18 points. But Mike Rosenthal, of course, you tend to forget about what kind of difference just plain old hard work makes, and certainly he exemplifies that. And Mike McGinnis and Cirillo doing what they're supposed to do out there. Cirillo playing defense on Wolfe, and Mike getting a few timely rebounds and sending it back out to the perimeter.
Yeah, Mike had a good steal and another good steal attempt down here the last time down. You have some rebound statistics in the first period so far. Any surprises there?
Well, 5 guys on the blue team have rebounds. Cuppy and Dunn both have 3 apiece, and that's why they're up.
Robbie Ingerson bringing the ball up over to Kurt Brooks. Kurt down low to Jimmy White. Jimmy White from the corner. He cans it. They had both big guys posted up on that side. They weren't going to get a lot of help if they missed that shot, but Jimmy dropped it in. Cuppy with the nice move, dribble, and it was a nice attempt by the blue team coming down, but Red cuts it to 7 points at the end of the first period. Again, an interesting first period. We mentioned the rebounding stats, and I think if we can, just going over for the blue team, Rosenthal has 1, Cuppy 3, Cirillo 1, Dunn 3, and McGinnis 1. So that's 9 rebounds total for blue, and 3, 5, only 7 for the red team. Tom Wolfe only 1 rebound. Terry Brennan with a pair, Jimmy White with 3. So the blues banging away pretty good.
Might mention Cuppy's 3 assists. Nobody else in the game has more than 1 assist. And Cuppy has been a standout scoring-wise. He's got a couple of rebounds out there and the 3 assists. So over the course of the 4 quarters, those kind of stats really tend to make the difference in the game. So far, the blue team really taking it to this red team. The red team has got to make some adjustments. I think they've got to use Jimmy White more effectively. Get the ball to Tom Wolfe. Tom make a move to the basket. If nothing's cooking, they've got Jimmy White hopefully breaking from some angle to get the easy layup, because they're double teaming Wolfe once he touches the ball. Let's see if they try to work anything along that direction. So far, it's mostly been Ingerson from the outside.
Yeah, there's no question if they can get the ball inside, it's going to make the outside man's game easier. 22 points for the blue team in the first period. That's almost a 90-point-a-game push. Red's gone to man now in an attempt to slow them down. Andy Harrison with the off-balance jumper. Controlled by blue, kept alive. Picked up in the lane. Mike Rosenthal with another one. Those aren't real fancy, but they count 24 points. That's an awful lot of points for this league. Keith Brooks with the jump shot. Hammered to the floor. Mike McGinnis on the shot. Keith hammered to the floor, but he comes up smiling. It wasn't anything serious. Mike came out trying to block the shot and got a piece of Keith. Once again, the blue team averaging 66 a game, and here they have 22 in the first quarter. Sloppy defense on the red, or you just think they're shooting real well?
I think they're shooting real well. That's about 33% higher than their average, and I just got to think that they're hot. Rosenthal's touch is phenomenal today. And that goes for Cuppy as well, and Mike Dunn.
They're getting good inside shots. They're not taking a lot of bad ones, and the outside shots they seem to be taking. Mike, little controversy over the possession on that one. Robbie's bringing it up, and so now we have both teams playing man-to-man. Terry Brennan against Mike Dunn. Terry with an off-balance jumper, a spin move, and Terry cans one. 24-20. They've closed the gap down to 4 now. Red making a determined move. Rosenthal's in there. Terry fighting with Mike Rosenthal for possession. Mike posting up down low, and let's see. That was after a switch. Now I don't know that Terry. Yeah, the foul's going to be on Terry. Terry covering Andy Harrison. He got stuck on Mike on a switch. Jimmy White's covering Mike now. And again, blue team trying to work the ball into Mike in the post. Red collapsing in there. Keith Brooks got a hand in there trying to knock it away, but was called for the foul. Mike Dunn inbounds it. They inbound to Cuppy in the backcourt, making sure it's safely. Robbie Ingerson covering Steve. Steve with long-range jump shot makes it good. And that's one thing that Red can't do. They can't collapse too much on him. Robbie brings it up. Pass to Jimmy White. Jimmy with the turnaround jump shot. Rebound, Dave Sissel in the game now. Dave over to Robbie Ingerson. Robbie from the corner. And now they're trading baskets right now, keeping it at a 4-point margin. Cuppy trying to push the ball. Tom Wolfe sitting on the bench right now. Mike Dunn. And Mike hits again. Mike, I think he's 6 for 7 here, if I'm not mistaken. He's just about perfect. They certainly can't give him that shot. Nice move. And White with the rebound. He's hammered. Couple of mismatches there. White with the open rebound, nobody around him, and they had a foul. And Keith Brooks coming down. Looked like he was covered by Mike McGinnis, and there's no way Mike's going to stay with Keith.
And White is a 48% free throw shooter, and
didn't look like, I guess the other 52% is the ones that go in. Jimmy with a much better touch that time. Rebound controlled by Dave Sissel. Turnaround jump shot. There's going to be a foul in there. And they call it against Terry. I think that's one that could have gone anyway. There were a lot of bodies banging in there. Jimmy with 2 rocky attempts, though, from the free throw line. And now Blue with a chance to take a 6-point lead and stretch it a little bit. Done to Rosenthal. Rosenthal fighting with White inside. Nice pass inside, and Andy Harrison picks up. We saw the double team on Mike Rosenthal with Terry leaving his man to come out. Mike picking up the open man, and we've got an injury out there.
Yeah, Jimmy White took something in the Adam's apple there, and Jimmy could have easily been called for the foul on Terry Brennan during that last, for the foul on Mike Rosenthal during that last possession. But Rosenthal wasn't deterred by the non-call, got it in there. Andy Harrison for the easy layup, and so far Rosenthal's, as the team captain, doing everything it takes to win this game.
I'm real impressed with the movement and the penetration. There's Tom Wolfe, and Red just can't seem to hit. Tom's gotten inside and had a couple of good opportunities and just hasn't put them in. You know that's not going to continue for long. Tommy's much too good a player to have that really bother him. Mike Rosenthal with, rebound Andy Harrison. Dave Sissel, I think, lost the ball for a minute, and Andy Harrison converts. And don't dribble. And now it's back to 10-point lead. Keith Brooks brings it up out to Terry Brennan. Terry with the jump shot. Terry hits from outside. It looks like Red almost has too many big guys in there. They just don't know who to go to inside, and they're winding up settling for outside jump shots, B.A.
Yeah, they're definitely lacking at the point guard position. You got Ingerson at the shooting guard, but Keith Brooks doesn't get to touch the ball much on the offense, and really that could be critical. Andy Harrison, by the way, 2 back-to-back baskets for the Blue. Not expected to be a big factor, but so far playing a very strong game.
One thing, the fact that we haven't mentioned, Red does have 7 players here for tonight's game. Brian Cirillo with the turnaround, Tom Wolfe with the rebound ahead. This is Kurt Brooks. Kurt pushing it up court against Steve Cuppy, but gets called for the carrying the ball. So it'll be Blue ball. It's an 8-point lead now. Cuppy brings the ball up. Again, they look inside. They continue. Oh, pretty pass. Catches Brian Cirillo wide open. Somebody just lost their man on that one. Red's going to call another timeout and try and get themselves a little better organized, because that last time, Brian Cirillo just wide open for a 1-foot shot, I guess. You sure don't get any more open than that, B.A.
No, it's hard to. I'm not quite sure how he got that open, but with all those big men in the game, that's the one thing you feel like that would prevent is a wide open shot within 2 feet there. I got to reiterate the fact that the Brooks brothers are all composed of maybe at least 3 real big guys who can't put the ball on the floor very well. You got to have a great point guard to get it to them, and the Red team is lacking that. They do have a good shooting guard in Robbie Ingerson, but unless you get these big guys in the Red team involved every time down the court, you're going to be hurting over the course of 4 quarters.
A little backcourt pressure. Steve Cuppy coming up, and now Terry Brennan with the dribble to Tom Wolfe. Tom with the turnaround, and he cans it. You know, an interesting point of what you made. Red didn't seem to have a real definition to their offense. Now Blue comes down, and you see a screen. They're looking for Mike Rosenthal. Cuppy with the ball outside. They seem to be a little bit more deliberate. There's the guy they want to touch the ball. They've had a lot of success with Rosenthal getting the ball. And Robbie doesn't get there in time. The foul is going to be called on him, trying to draw a charge on Cuppy. Cuppy with the quick baseline move. So the foul's going to be against Robbie. And also there's going to be a technical foul involved, and I guess the tech was called against Robbie. Obviously Robbie disagreeing with the call and a little upset over the call. It's going to be 1-1, and then there's going to be a 2-shot tech. And so Steve Cuppy's going to take them all. Coach Rosenthal decides to send Steve there. Steve, an excellent free throw shooter.
Well, it was an 8-point bulge when Cuppy went to the line. Now it's 9 points, and he's got an opportunity to extend it to 12. So let's see what happens here.
Steve's 79% free throw shooter from the line. Made the one that was the real important one, which was the first half of the 1-on-1, which got him the second shot. And now he'll shoot 2 technical foul shots. And he gets one more. There's an explanation of the rule. Well, some folks disagree. And Cuppy hits the second. So they get 3 points out of that, and now they're still going to get the ball. So they've got an 11-point lead. They've got the ball. There's 4:09 to play. Let's make sure we give you the score. 37 blue, 26 for the red Wolfpack team. 4 minutes to play in the half. Robbie's still man-to-man. Mike Rosenthal being guarded by Tom Wolfe. Mike McGinnis out there by Dave Sissel. Terry Brennan, hook shot, left-handed hook shot by Brian Cirillo. Rebound, Robbie Ingwerson, and you saw Steve Cuppy pull away, so he didn't create the foul. Nice passing inside. There's going to be a foul. It was a nice pass, Robbie to Terry Brennan. Terry back to Dave Sissel, and Dave gets hammered, sent to the line. However, we mentioned earlier in the game, Dave Sissel only an 11% free throw shooter at the line. He's only 1 for 9. He hasn't been to the line all that much, but this was one of the things that we did talk about earlier in the year, Dave, with a fairly unorthodox style. Misses the first. And drops the second through. So Dave's a 50% shooter on that one anyway. Here's Andy Harrison bringing it up. No pressure, Dave. And here's a smart move. They're going to take Harrison. His man is Sissel, the one guy that they don't want out there covering a guard. And they're going to let Harrison dribble the ball a little bit. That's a good move. Mike Rosenthal called for the walk. Mike trying to maneuver inside against Tom Wolfe. 10-point lead, 37-27 blue. Here's Robbie Ingwerson. Sissel posting up one side. Tom Wolfe coming across. They want Wolfe. They don't get him. They get Terry Brennan. Tom Wolfe going back down low. There's Robbie. Inside to Wolfe. Rosenthal reaching around. Tom down to the baseline. He's looking for it. He takes the turnaround jump shot and cans it. That's a habit Tom has. Holding the ball down on that baseline, holding it, and it seems like nothing's going to be there. And sooner or later, he's able to get that shoulder around, get the jumper. Cuppy answers with one a whole lot faster.
Yeah, last time down the court, Cuppy didn't touch the ball for the blue team, and they didn't do much. They didn't look very fluid. That time down, he just took command and 2 points.
They ran the screen off. Robbie shoots and misses. Rebound by Rosenthal with good inside position, and he's pushing it coast to coast. Mike Rosenthal, pretty move. Again, a fairly unorthodox looking layup. Right-handed going across the lane the wrong way, but again, he gets it off against the bigger Tom Wolfe, and he scores. Robbie, by himself, misses the offensive tap opportunity. Rebound by Rosenthal. Rosenthal's pushing, holds it up for a second, right back at it. Blue a little slow coming down that time. Brian Cirillo looks like he's trying to get an extra breath. Mike Dunn maybe slowing down a bit. And Andy Harrison out front. And the good thing about this set with Sissel covering Harrison, anytime they want to hold the ball, all they've got to do is give it to Harrison out front. And Red's not going to be able to get it. 1:50 to play in the half. Cuppy misses, but he gets his own rebound down on one knee. Rebound by Brooks. Kurt Brooks pushes it up court to Robbie. Robbie around with a slightly out of control shot. Andy Harrison with the rebound, slows it down, says, let's think about this. And Rosenthal will bring it up. Robbie looks a little out of control out there. I think he's trying to do maybe a little bit too much.
Well, I think that goes for Cuppy as well the last time down the court. He tried to do a little bit too much, and that's the thing that both teams have to try to stay away from.
Mike Dunn bangs another one home from outside, extend the lead to 14. 43-29 blue team, 1:17 to play in the half. Cuppy brings it up under control this time. They look to Dunn inside. That's a matchup they'll certainly want to take advantage of. Kurt Brooks trying to cover Mike Dunn. Mike already with a good game. I think they'd want to go back to that. Terry with the one-hander across the lane. Rebound, Kurt Brooks controlled, knocked away, and taken by Mike Dunn. To hit to Rosenthal, 3-on-1, but the wrong way. Rosenthal goes to a corner, pulls it back out. Silk at the top of the key, over to Cuppy. Cuppy says, I'll take that jump shot, thank you, misses. Sissel with the rebound, and we're coming back the other way. Oh, Mike Dunn with a great move, and he's fouled. Mike Dunn just hanging out there, looking for that pass, a sloppy pass by Dave Sissel. Mike pulls it away and goes in, gets fouled.
Ed, we had just a second ago 4 guys on the blue team holding their hands down by their knees, gasping for air, and now Dunn, Rosenthal, and Harrison are doing it. And I think that last time there was just no hustle on the blue part, and it looks like they're a little winded. They're playing with 6 guys. The red team's playing with 7.
And that may make a significant difference before this game is through. Mike Dunn at the line bangs one home, 44-29, so it's a 15-point lead for the blue team. And Mike misses, rebound Tom Wolfe, ahead to Keith Brooks. You notice also that Rosenthal and Harrison were both hanging down this end, catching their breath, saving a run down the court. 44-31, Coach Rosenthal calling out for one shot. They give the ball to Cuppy. We now have Keith Brooks on Steve Cuppy, Kurt Brooks on Mike Dunn. Andy Harrison's covered by Cecil. All three of those matchups look like there's something they could take advantage of. Jimmy White covering Brian Cirillo, and Tom Wolfe on Mike Rosenthal. And just like we mentioned earlier, I think they're going to keep giving the ball to Harrison. Oh, give and go Andy Harrison down the lane, but Mike decided not to do it. 6 seconds to play. He's looking for one. He goes to Cuppy inside. He's hammered by Jimmy White. They're going to go to the line with 2 seconds. Let's see, yes, Steve Cuppy will go to the line. Steve is 79% free throw shooter. 2 seconds to play in the half. 2 seconds to play, 13-point lead for the blue team. Cuppy at the line, shooting 1 and 1. Bangs the first one home, makes it a 15-point lead, I believe. 14-point lead.
And Cuppy's a 79% free throw shooter, number 3 in the league.
And you see why. He's got a nice style, follows through, pass into Tommy Wolfe, the long shot, just a little high. He did get something off, and it was close. Okay, 46-31 is the score at the end of the first half. Let's talk a little bit about the first half. First, let's talk, are you surprised by a 15-point lead by the blue team, B.A.?
Yes, I am, Ed, and to be quite honest with you, you and me both picked the red team in our conversation off microphone before the game, just based on the personnel and on paper and a look at the statistics. But what doesn't show up in the statistics is that 4 of those guys on the blue team were out of breath there with 30 seconds left to go in the first half. Now that's because they were hustling the whole half. And one thing about playing with 6 guys can go either way. You know that you're going to be playing a great majority of the game. You always have one guy on the bench to bring in, but there's never any question about playing time. There's plenty enough to go around. When you have 7 guys, there's a little bit of the coach, Tom Wolfe, has got to give some thought to the rotation and who he wants in the game to play with the other personnel that are already in the game. And sometimes that can be a negative factor, believe it or not. The way it worked out there, the blue team pushed the whole half and didn't run out of gas until 30 seconds were left. And now they have an 8-minute halftime to rejuvenate themselves at the drinking fountain.
Absolutely. I'm glad you admitted it. I don't know if I would have admitted that I picked the red team after that first half, but both of us did for a lot of reasons. But I was real surprised. I wasn't surprised by the blue team's hustle, but they impressed me with their hustle. They impressed me with their scrappiness. They got a lot of baskets off second and third shots. They made a lot of good passes. They found a hot shooter, Mike Dunn, in the first half, and they kept going back to him. They found what they wanted to do, which was get Cuppy to bring the ball up, get it to Rosenthal, and then wait for something to happen, which they did. And as you mentioned, when they got out of that pattern, when Cuppy didn't handle the ball, or when he tried to just come on down and crank something up, or they got out of that pattern, they weren't quite as successful, but they were good and consistent. They did the right things right. And outside of the fact trying to figure out who's going to finish the game for them, they've got a couple of guys that are not in the greatest shape over there, both Brian Cirillo and Mike McGinnis. They're really not in any serious foul trouble as far as we see. Cuppy looks like he can run all night. I think Mike Rosenthal can run all night, and probably Dunn. So those 3 will stay out there. And Andy Harrison also, looks in good shape. So if they can stay out of foul trouble and keep 5 fresh people on the court, they've got a long way to go to protect that lead. On the other hand, what went wrong for Red? Well, it looked like they couldn't consistently get the ball to the right guys. What do you think about that, B.A.?
Well, fluidity wasn't there for the red team. Very rarely down court did more than 2 guys touch the ball in any given possession. Now, with Wolfe out of the game, we saw a lot more team offense. But it doesn't work out as well just because Tom is such an important part of their offense. And, of course, when he's in there, the tendency is to just give it to him and then let's see what happens. So they've got to try to blend both of those factors, Wolfe being in the game and the fact that there are 4 other guys out there who can be productive if allowed to be. I think a large part of that, like I hate to reiterate the point guard thing, but they've got to control the tempo, and then once Tom gets the ball, it's up to him to make a good decision about whether to take the shot or to make a move and then serve it off to a guy like Jimmy White, who's quite capable of carrying more of a scoring load than he has so far.
The one thing that I mentioned, having trouble getting it to the right guy, it seemed that when they get in there, they'd either have 3 guys down low, and when either Jimmy or Tom would get the ball, they'd wind up bumping into each other and allowing those double teams, or nobody would get the ball, and the ball would be dribbled around outside. Robbie really shouldn't be handling the ball at the point. I mean, he's the guy you'd like to have to be a shooting guard to pop that jump shot, to shoot that jump shot after he gets that penetration pass. And also, I think what Tom and Jimmy and Dave Sissel, when he's in there, is they have to spread out and they have to not let those double and triple team traps close in on them as they have. Shot attempts for Blue, Mike Dunn with 9 shots. We don't have, unfortunately, stats here as far as scoring stats. Oh, yeah, we do. No, I believe those are shot attempts. Rebounding, leading for these guys, Tom Wolfe with 3, Terry Brennan with just 2 rebounds, Robbie 2 rebounds, Jimmy White 4 rebounds. He's the leader for the red team. For the blue team, Mike Rosenthal with 5, Steve Cuppy with 4, Brian Cirillo with 2, Andy Harrison with 2, Mike Dunn with 3, Mike McGinnis with 1. Assists, Cuppy had 3 of them. The red team had 3 altogether. A couple of guys on the blue team had 1 apiece. Outlook for the second half, BA, and how do you think it's going to go?
Well, I tell you, looking at the blue team, the way they finished up as strongly as they started. I see no reason that they wouldn't come out and keep up what they were doing, because it seemed like they were doing what came naturally to them, whereas the red team was doing what came naturally to them, but it wasn't working out for them. So I don't know if you can make the kind of adjustments over an 8-minute period that are necessary to pull you back from a 15-point deficit.
Well, what I'd be thinking if I was Tom Wolfe, first of all, he's got to force some tempo here. He just can't let blue team sit on it. Robbie with the jump shot from outside, very low trajectory. Mike McGinnis with the rebound, and it's Kurt Brooks in from behind with the foul. Now we'll see. Robbie's coming up, and looks like he's going to play some defense. They're going to play man-to-man, and yes, it looks just that probably half court at least. They're going to put some pressure on him. Well, it doesn't get any easier than that. The pass into Mike Dunn in the corner. Steve Cuppy down the lane cutting. Pass right back. Mike Dunn gets the assist, and it's a 6-foot shot for Steve Cuppy. Dunn with the steal. Ahead to Rosenthal. Nice over-the-head pass to Cuppy. Bang. 4 straight points. And Red really looks disorganized after those two runs. Man-to-man still for Blue. Look for Keith Brooks with the cut. Look for back to Terry Brennan. Knocked out of bounds by Andy Harrison. Red still doesn't seem to have a coherent plan out there. Keith Brooks from the corner hits 2.
Well, the first 2 times down the court for the red team has been 20-foot jumpers. One went in, one didn't, but that's not the way they're going to get back in this game.
A little more aggressive defense, still man-to-man. That Blue, again, intelligently looking for the mismatch. Kurt Brooks on Mike McGinnis. They post Mike McGinnis up. Tom Wolfe has to come over and help out, but that's real good shot selection. They were at least going to get a foul out of that if Tom didn't get back to help. Can't give Mike Rosenthal that shot. After the switching, Mike Rosenthal unattended at the free throw line, cans it. 52-33, 19-point lead for Blue. Keith Brooks scrapes off the pick. Keith hits the jump shot. That's 2 for Keith now, right in a hurry. Nice pick set up top by Terry Brennan, but they're still not getting the ball inside. It's just a jump shot by the dribbler. Cuppy from outside. No, fakes. Mike Rosenthal inside. Another unorthodox shot. A couple of requests for a walk, but he gets that left-handed hook outside, and may not look smooth, but it goes in. And I think the unorthodoxy of it really catches the defender by surprise. Robbie cans a jumper.
Well, not one inside shot for the red team so far, even though they have shot well from the outside, but they haven't managed to close the deficit any. Rosenthal continues to keep the ball moving for the blue team with another assist there to Dunn.
And Mike Dunn still open in the corner, and they pop it again. I think not only no inside shots for the red team, but no inside passes. I mean, there hasn't even been an attempt at a pass inside. Terry Brennan scoring an inside basket for them, but that was off an offensive rebound on a tap. Keith Brooks trying to trap. He's on Andy Harrison now. Turn around by Rosenthal. Terry gets the rebound. First good defensive trip for Red. Robbie pushing it against 3 guys, decides better of it. He's going to hold up. He's going to hold up, bring it back out. They're going to see if they set something up. Here's Keith Brooks. Pass to Terry Brennan, cutting, and Terry can't get through. Knocked away. Mike Rosenthal brings it up over to Cuppy. Cuppy with the jump shot. Nice move by Steve Cuppy. And Kurt Brooks is going to bring it up. Kurt way across court to Tommy Wolfe. Dangerous pass. Tom with that little turnaround move down on the baseline scores, but again, a dangerous pass and didn't really seem to. Although Tom wound up making a scoring opportunity, they got to get the ball to him in a better fashion than that.
Yeah, and for the blue team, the Cuppy's just the cream's rising to the top here. How fluid he brings the ball down court, does everything. He's a machine out there, and he's looking real well-oiled machine right now. Here he goes again.
Red trying to do the things they're going to have to do to get back in after when they're behind by this many, and that's press a little bit and trap a little bit. But every time they do, they Blue expertly beating them at it. Robbie's full shot just looks slow, so flat. There's no arc to that at all. I don't see how that one could have gone in. He's just not getting the ball up in the air. I'm not sure if he's tired or hurt. Mike Dunn out here now holding the ball against Terry Brennan. But every time Red tries to double team, Blue is successful in finding that open man. And if nothing else, they get it back out. Cuppy inside with the turnaround. Robbie's no match for him in the key.
Well, that's about 6 times down court that Rosenthal's gotten the ball at the foul line. Wolfe's come out on him, and Rosenthal's hit somebody else for the bucket. And Mike Rosenthal is not intimidated by Wolfe. That time he did foul him, though, Ed.
Mike Rosenthal playing one heck of a game, B.A. Just as you mentioned, he's coming out, and that's a great move. Andy Harrison over sort of down on one knee. The one thing that Blue cannot afford, though, is foul trouble. I really believe that Red should take a chance here and really aggressively press this game. Tom Wolfe, a little short of Tom, a 48% free throw shooter. He's at the line for 2. But if they could get either, and the second one is long, Mike Dunn with the rebound. If they could get either Cuppy or Rosenthal in foul trouble, they would really be able to accomplish a great deal. Mike McGinnis misses clean. Tom Wolfe with the rebound, and Red's pushing. And I think that's what Red's going to do. Keith Brooks with the jump shot. And again, Blue not having their fastest team out there now. Andy Harrison on the bench. They've got both Mike and Brian in the game. So and there's Keith tries to steal the ball, at least force the pass. Tom Wolfe with the pass now to steal. Steve Cuppy tries to cut off Robbie, fouls him, and Robbie's going to go to the line for 2.
Yeah, they called 2 shots on that, Ed, but in my opinion, the foul came just before the ball was shot, and Robbie just threw it up there after the foul took place. But I think it was such a semi-violent crash that Jimmy gave him the benefit of the doubt and gave him the 2 shots on that one. But we started the half with Blue up by 15 points. Now they're up 17 points. And they're still doing the things that gave them that lead at the halftime. And unless, like you mentioned, Red's got to start trapping or doing something out of the ordinary, this game's going to keep on going the way it has been.
Yeah, I think that they are going to have to keep pushing. That last series, Blue looks a little tired out there. This is where it's going to, a lot of coaches will tell you that you play for a 2 or 3 minute spurt, you can pick up 10 or 12 points. And I think that's what Red's trying to do, just push Blue to the brink where they're going to get sloppy for a couple of minutes. But the one thing about Blue, with Cuppy on the floor and Rosenthal and Dunn, and they're going to obviously keep those 3 guys out there unless they foul out. They've got 3 guys that can control the ball, that can take the ball down the floor without turning it over. Andy Harrison also a good ball handler. So we're going to, let's see, Robbie at the line with a 47% free throw shooting percentage. That one looks smooth. One thing that we did see this half, Keith Brooks 3 for 3 from the outside. Robbie only 1 for 4. So Robbie doing a lot of the shooting. Robbie cans both of them, and those are important foul shots. 15-point game, and here's the pressure. They're not pressing Andy, but here comes Keith. There's the trap. And that's what they want, stolen away by Robbie. To pass to Keith, to Jimmy White, one pass too many. One pass too many. They had an excellent opportunity, and that's exactly what they wanted to do. They were able to come up. They stopped Andy. They trapped him right at half court. They doubled him with Keith and Robbie. They're going to be able to get away with that maybe with Andy, but certainly not with Cup. Brian Cirillo with the left-handed hooker. Terry Brennan, and they're trying to push the ball, but I have the feeling that they might be better a bit slower. It's 3 opportunities in a row that Red has had the ball. I'm not saying that they shouldn't push the pace, but I just don't think that the answer is throwing the ball a length to the floor. They've got faster players on the floor now, and I think all they've got to do is run all 5 people down there, and they're going to get mismatches.
Yeah, and conversely, Blue had no need to push the ball his last 2 possessions. If they had Mike, they should be notified that their lead is, and just take it to the 4th quarter the way things are, and not try to lose the tempo of this game.
Now there we see Terry Brennan coming down. That was a much better rush. Again, they got 4 on 3, and I think they can do that. They don't have to look for that wide open layup. If they just keep aggressively pushing the ball, they're going to get the 4 on 3s, 3 on 2s, 2 on 1s. Mike Dunn in there after a nice effort down at this end, trying to foul, but that was his only opportunity to stop the shot. Tom Wolfe with the miss, the follow. Brian Cirillo fouls, and I'll tell you what, I see this game turning around a little bit here, B.A. Blue missing down at this end. Maybe they're a little tired. Maybe Red's playing better defense, but Red is wearing at them, and I think it's Blue this time maybe for Blue to either settle down, take a timeout, rest a little bit, but they've got to start using those timeouts, if nothing else, to just get some air.
Yeah, Tom can. Oh, he misses that front end of the one-on-one. He could have cut it to 11 points there. But this last 2 minutes and 25 seconds of the 3rd quarter are critical for the Red team.
And I think that Mike Rosenthal handling the ball now. Hands it inside to Brian. Brian almost stripped away to Mike Dunn. We got a 3-second violation on Steve Cuppy before. But again, Blue is not as smooth offensively. Tom Wolfe came out that time when they went to Mike Rosenthal, and Tom did a nice job. There's a pretty pass into Jimmy White, and the fouls are piling up. I'm not sure how many fouls that is on Brian, but the fouls are piling up on his Blue team, and they don't have a lot of depth on the bench. Jimmy White going to the line. And Jimmy, again, we mentioned a 48% free throw shooter, but at this point, especially to miss fouls are going to be crucial. That's Brian's 2nd personal foul. Jimmy a little bit off to the left, and Mike Rosenthal with a switch gets himself inside down low, sends Mike Dunn up to the top, and Jimmy White on the line. Jimmy misses again. Silk Cirillo with the rebound. Andy Harrison pushes ahead to Mike Dunn. They had Mike Rosenthal going down the lane. Mike Dunn trapped for a moment. Rosenthal comes out front. Robbie, quick hands, knocks it away, but they recover. Steve Cuppy makes him pay for it. Boom. Robbie trying to gamble on that switch. Misses the ball over to Cuppy. Robbie falls, maintains control with a DeMatta-style dribbling drill. Kurt Brooks with a maniac move across the key. The play looks a little sloppy. I think everybody's getting a little tired out there. We're seeing some moves that are just not characteristic of these players. Lob pass to Jimmy White, turnaround, misses. They keep it alive. Robbie does inside. Traveling violation after Mike Rosenthal rebounds. We saw some intense play in there, B.A.
Yeah, and the Wolfpack is a 45% free throw shooting team during the course of the season, but they're shooting abominably from the line, and it's killing them today.
Tom Wolfe with that turnaround jump shot, and I felt Brian Cirillo did get a piece of his arm, but there was no foul call. Tom a little discouraged over that, but the refs didn't have a real good angle, not as good as we had on it. It's knocked out of bounds by the Red team pushing it up here. And again, Red's gambling there. They're jump switching all the time. Cuppy misses. Jimmy White rebounds. Jimmy turns around ahead to Terry. And here comes the push. Andy Harrison. Andy just can't keep up with him. Robbie tries to tap instead of rebound, and Red did have the advantage. Everybody's hurting here. Jimmy White with a grimace coming back down court. Pace just intense. 33 seconds to play. 62-47 Blue. That's 15 points. Red hasn't gotten it closer than 13, I don't believe, since the second period. Kurt Brooks with a good play. They had Andy Harrison posting him up down low. If Andy gets that pass, it's an easy 2. Kurt with a good defensive maneuver. Steve Cuppy outside to Mike Rosenthal, and you see Tom Wolfe following Mike all over the court. Gives him no room at all. Robbie backing a little bit off Cup, and again they're going to post up Harrison. Harrison turns around, misses, follows, gets his own rebound. Kurt with the ball to Terry Brennan, and it's a traveling violation. They'll bring the ball back. Andy Harrison down on the floor. Everybody a little uncertain about what the time was. Andy a little shaken up. They're going to bring Mike McGinnis in to replace him. They got 1 second. 1 second for blue. Mike Dunn will throw the ball in. And to Rosenthal, turns, shoots, gets it off the rim. Third period, 62-47, blue team, 15-point lead. Same lead, that's right. They haven't put a dent in it, but I had the feeling the last couple minutes that Red seemed to be making a surge, B.A.
I had that feeling also, Ed, but the only problem was that the surge was not productive. Everybody picked up the tempo. Terry Brennan was exemplified that, going to the basket very hard last time. Ball just wouldn't drop for him. Offensive rebound, Red team, but they couldn't turn it into 2 points. In that exchange, they expended a lot of energy which they'll need if they're going to make a run at it in the fourth quarter. And looking at them and the grimace in their faces and the way they didn't cover Mike Rosenthal in that last 15-footer with 1 second left tells me that they are tired. And I don't know if they have what it takes to make the run that would be required to make up 15 points in 8 minutes on a blue team that seems to still be taking it to them.
I agree with you. There's no question it's going to take a heroic effort, and I don't think that they can stop for a minute if they want to have a chance at this. I think they consistently run into problems. They're playing man-to-man, and they consistently run into matchup problems. They consistently run into matchup problems when they attempt to go out there and trap. They can't really take the ball away from Steve. Every time they try and double Steve, they have a problem. We are going to take a quick break here for a technical reload on the camera, and we'll be back to you in just a moment. It's the end of the third period, 62-47, blue team in front. Okay, we're right back, camera fully loaded with fresh film, and we're ready to finish this game. We mentioned a 15-point lead for blue. The possession arrow, I think, is going to indicate their ball to start this fourth quarter. And we are going to have a BA, our color man, over at the booth trying to get some last-minute information here for us. I'm going to handle the action alone. Mike Dunn inbounds to Steve Cuppy. Steve's going to bring it up, and now he's covered by Keith Brooks. Robbie on the bench and Tom Wolfe on the bench. Cuppy with the jump shot, rebound by Jimmy White, and Keith Brooks all alone, and that's now a 13-point game. And I think that's the kind of thing that Red wants to do. Again, Jimmy White on Mike Rosenthal, Keith Brooks on Steve Cuppy, Mike Dunn covered by Terry Brennan. These matchups don't look bad, although Kurt Brooks on Andy Harrison may still cause some problems. Keith, good quick ball player, but he's given up a lot of height. Mike Dunn with the jump shot. Mike cans it, and he has been red hot, and Mike has certainly been one of the real big stories for this blue team here. Dave Sissel hammered to the floor, but there's no call. Jim White called for the foul after the rebound. Dave Sissel limping off. I think he came down hard on that ankle. There was no foul involved. He was just off balance when he landed. We'll probably see Tom Wolfe enter the game here. Jim White over to make sure that Dave's okay. Dave's going to sit for a minute. Tom Wolfe's re-entering. And let's see. Okay. It's going to be Steve Cuppy. Steve covered by Keith. Mike Dunn. Again, BA not here to comment, but what I think I'd like to do, Mike Rosenthal misses that little scoop shot. Jimmy White with the rebound. That's a couple of big rebounds for Jim White here down the stretch. Jimmy really starting to assert himself, one of the big rebounders in the league. Kurt Brooks from way outside. And Jimmy White keeps it alive, follows in. Boy, you talk about a hustle play. This is Jim White with a sensational sequence. Just some incredible play out there. really showing the drive that's made him one of the surprise stories this year, but just couldn't get it to go down the hole and finally called for the foul. Okay, here's Steve against Keith, and you can see they're clearing out a side. Steve had the entire side here, couldn't do anything with it. Terry Brennan hustling into the backcourt. Andy Harrison trapped over on the sidelines, but Red gets it back. Tom Wolfe having to cover 2 people. Mike Dunn starts to change his mind. Double pump, cans it. Mike Dunn with 4 here right in the 4th period.
He's got 19 points.
19 points for Mike Dunn, way above his average. And they've all, I tell you, Mike got to be shooting 80% here from the floor. Just doing a sensational job, and Mike brings down that rebound. It's a 17-point game. Terry Brennan trying to stay with Mike, just can't. Mike pulls up onto the outside. There's the pass inside to Rosenthal. And the foul's going to be called by referee Jim McGinnis. Tom Wolfe for holding Mike Rosenthal. Steve Cuppy around the screen. Knocked out of bounds. It's still going to be blue ball. Still going to be blue ball. Mike Dunn's going to throw it in. Cuppy again, the screen set by Brian Cirillo this time. Tom Wolfe knocks it out of bounds right over here into the booth. And it's going to be blue ball again. Back out to Mike Dunn. Mike Dunn against Terry Brennan. And Tom Wolfe with the steal. Tom Wolfe with the steal, covered by Mike Dunn. They've got 3 on 2. Tom takes it in. Can't score. Terry Brennan with the rebound. Power move up and in. And that ought to be an opportunity for 3-point play. Terry Brennan with good dedication. Good aggressive follow. And Terry now at the line after scoring 2. Terry a 42% free throw shooter. I think Terry has 12 points now in the game. Chance for 13. A little long. Terry with the rebound. Misses, and Steve Cuppy with the rebound. And a steal by Kurt Brooks. What a play by Kurt Brooks. Tap, 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 tap. And it stays red. I tell you, we had 7 guys underneath there all tapping at that ball. Kurt Brooks with a tremendous play, came all the way down. Tom and Jimmy fighting for that loose ball. Back to Keith. And Keith doing a good job. I tell you, Keith is settling him down, and Keith is making him do something disciplined. Although Terry with the long outside shot, rebound, Tom Wolfe. And Tom can't get it to fall. Rosenthal with the rebound, knocked out of bounds, and it's blue ball. Tom Wolfe with a great opportunity over Brian Cirillo. Couldn't get it to stay down. Here's Cuppy with the ball.
That was a rough exchange for Red, Ed. They had 4 offensive rebounds. They kept the ball for about 45 seconds of valuable time, and it still didn't, there wasn't a point scored, but it wasn't for lack of trying. I think the story on the blue team is Mike Dunn's 19 points is 7 points above his average. Cuppy's 23 points is 5 points above his average. And Mike Rosenthal is sitting at 16 points, which is 4 points above his average. So that's big part of the story here.
Jimmy White with the jumper to keep it where it was, which is 15. But they just can't chip that 15 mark, and as time keeps running shorter, naturally, blue keeps looking stronger and stronger. Keith tired out there, just couldn't move those feet to get in front of Cuppy. Cuppy with a nice move around. It's 25 for Steve, I believe. Here's Keith with the jump shot, answering back. Boom, he hits it. I think both sides a little tired defensively now. Everybody's trying to suck it up and make that one big run. 3:44, that's a lot of points, and there isn't a lot of time. Well, you never really know about what can happen if they do start fouling. Red, oh, that's a very costly one. Rebound just falling to the floor, 6 feet from the basket. Brian Cirillo controls, puts it back in. And I don't know if you believe in things like nails and coffins, but boy, that one sounded like the hammer hit home on that one.
Yeah, that 15-point lead has been the benchmark since the halftime. It's up to 17 now. But Keith Brooks, I'd like to point out, has 15 points today, and that's significantly above his average of 6 points a game. Other standouts would have to be Terry Brennan with 12 points above his 7-point average. But Tom Wolfe and Robbie Ingerson significantly below their average, and they're a big part of the offense on a normal evening.
Tom bangs one home from the free throw line. And that was Tom's first successful free throw today. Some days, I guess, you just the ball doesn't fall as well as others. Mike Dunn with a rebound, a valuable rebound. Mike McGinnis ahead a little. I don't think Mike has jumped high enough to catch that one in several years. Mike's leaping ability might best be characterized by not tripping over the mid-court line.
It's incredible how fast Mike McGinnis got down court that time. It's almost like he was cherry picking and he didn't run to the other end the last time, but I can't believe that's the case.
And Mike again fouls. Tom Wolfe just, again, can't get that shot down. You know, Tom's must have had 10 shots that he literally put in the hole, the ball's halfway through, and it just pops out. And Tommy really having a tough time keeping that ball down the hole. He's getting good shooting opportunities, and the shots are not really bad. I mean, you know, they're in and out of the rim. They're just a little bit too much spin or whatever. And tough chance. I have the feeling that almost looked like one of those lonesome end plays that Army so successfully ran with Pete Dawkins back in the early 60s. Mike McGinnis, the lonely forward, I think camped under the basket and perhaps masquerading as a hot dog salesman or something like that. But anyway, they had him, but Mike Dunn a little too eager, whipped one too high down the floor. 16-point game, 72-56, 2:49 to play. We want to remind you to hang around here. This certainly isn't the end. This is just the first round play. I don't know that we had an opportunity before the game to explain that, but this is the first round elimination round. Two teams, Ken Adrian's team and Jim Weisgerber's team received byes, so they won't play until next week. This game, the Wolfe Pack against Mike Rosenthal's blue team. Next game will be Donnie Firestein's team. Donnie back from a visit to the Caribbean, I think in time for this game, and they will be playing, let's see, I'm sorry, Tom's at the line right now. Let's let him shoot. Tom misses. I'm not sure deliberately or not. Rebound out to Andy Harrison. Andy Harrison back to Mike Rosenthal. And they're going to be, excuse me, what the thought I was going to say is that Donnie Firestein's team will be playing Jay McCall's team in our next game. And naturally, the winners of these two games will advance to next week final round, the final four. Mike McGinnis from the corner, and Mike is fouled by Keith Brooks. Keith trying to get a block out of it, sends Mike to the lane. I think he got a good piece of Mike that time, but again, certainly nothing intentional. Mike, a good free throw shooter, nice form. Very deliberate at the line. Got it onto the rim, but it doesn't fall. And that one's in and out. Nice backspin and all, but just didn't stay down. Keith Brooks down the lane with a pretty drive. Doesn't fall. Terry Brennan with the ball gets it up in the air. And again, Terry called for the foul, and I tell you though, B.A., as bad as it looks for this red team, you really can't fault the effort these guys are making. I mean, they are really hammering in there. I mean, not in a dirty fashion at all, but they're just playing their hearts out, and the good things just don't seem to want to happen for them.
Yeah, Terry Brennan that time working as hard as anybody's ever worked to get 2 points, and got his own rebound, put it back up, but it just wouldn't go for him. Then he gets called for the foul, which adds insult to injury. I think that the impact that Cirillo and McGinnis made on Tom Wolfe is significant. You know, you can't call every foul, and these guys have made a living off of fouling a guy just enough to affect his shot, but not enough for the referee to call it. So between Cirillo and McGinnis, they might have 5 fouls between them, but believe me, they've taken their toll physically on the front line of the red team, and allowed their skill players, if you will, you know, to do their thing, while not worried about the bulk that's required to do some of the other things like rebounding and playing some hard defense underneath. So they're playing a good team game, the blue team, and they're certainly deserving of the victory here. But that's not to say that the red team certainly has given it their best shot, and it's time to get out the softball bats, though, for the red team, because there's no coming back now.
Yeah, 16 looks a little too much, and I really do like that observation. I think that Brian and Mike have really made a significant contribution. they've really helped on the guys, Jim White, on Tom Wolfe, on Terry Brennan, keeping them off the boards. Like you say, banging them just enough to keep their shots off balance, not giving them the easy shots, fighting them for position all over the floor, double teaming, triple teaming when the ball goes inside. And that's in a big sense. Mike Rosenthal makes the first of his free throws. In a big sense, what that's really done is made the red team an outside jump shooting team, which really is not the game that they should be playing. And I think it's Blues defense as much as Red's inability to get it inside that's really made the difference. Keith into Terry, knocked away by Mike Dunn, and there's Mike McGinnis comes up with a head to Andy Harrison. Andy going to take it down at Tom Wolfe. Oh, a pretty pass! And Mike Rosenthal again gets in one of those ugly ducks.
Andy Harrison's confidence growing this game, and that'll be a factor as the playoffs progress for this Blue team, because they need that fifth man out there to have the confidence.
Keith hits the outside shot, just a one-handed sort of set shot. Keith shooting well from the outside, but it's a little too late. And yes, Andy also having made a big contribution to victory for this Blue squad. Blue just keeping the ball away from him now, 141. Cuppy drives the lane. Jimmy White, one guy goes out there and still refuses to admit defeat, goes across, tries to stop Steve, but Steve protects the ball real nice. Red trying to throw the length of the court pass in frustration, throws it out of bounds. Terry Brennan's going to sit. Here comes Kurt Brooks for some playing time. Mike Dunn's going to inbound the ball. 77-58, 19-point lead for the Blue team. We got Mike McGinnis on the bench now. Brian Cirillo out to Mike Rosenthal to Mike Dunn. Keith trying to trap, trying to put some pressure on the ball across to Andy Harrison. Inside stolen away by Tom Wolfe. Tom's going to take it down the lane. Here comes Robbie. Robbie with a little under the arm type pass, but Keith wasn't cutting. I think maybe, again, that's one of the things that we saw early too, when in the second period when Red had those 3 or 4 really good opportunities. Mike Dunn tries to score. Can't. Brian Cirillo keeps it alive, but Keith Brooks comes up with it behind the back dribble. That was pretty. That's a good pass by Keith. Robbie just can't make the shot fall. It was not an easy shot by any means. 4-on-1, unselfishly to Mike Dunn. Mike Dunn scores. Boom. Andy Harrison catches a wandering elbow. Kurt Brooks down the other end. Rink to rink action here. Corner to corner, end to end, coast to coast. And Tom Love slows the game down. It's getting a little too fast paced for him. Tom, having moved up to the over 30 league this year, is used to a little more sedate pace out there. So he says, slow down, fellas. Somebody shoot a free throw. Let me catch my breath.
Well, a lot of people underestimate the extra weight that whistle will put on you out there carrying up and down the court.
He did look faster without the whistle.
Now, this game really didn't deteriorate till about the last minute here, but that's bound to happen when you have the kind of lead that the Blue team's got. It a 22-point lead now. So all things considered, it was a well-played game right down to the wire, and that's a nice way to end the season for the Red team, and a good impetus for the Blue team going on into the other rounds of the playoffs.
Tom Wolfe with the rebound off the missed free throw. Keith Brooks ahead, and it's thrown out of bounds. Yeah, I really feel like where you mentioned that the game is sort of getting a little sloppy now. It's really because Blue wants to hold the ball. They're not looking to embarrass anybody. They just want to keep it out front. And Red's just getting frustrated. They're just not getting to the ball, and you can't get to the ball. These guys are unselfish. They pass the ball good. Mike McGinnis passes it off the rim to Brian Cirillo. I'm not sure they'll give Mike an assist on that, but that's a rim pass. From Mike to Brian. Those guys play well together. Over to Tom Wolfe. Tom with the little turnaround move. And there again, you saw the same thing, but that time it fell for Tommy. You had Mike McGinnis on one arm, Brian on the other arm, Mike Dunn also in the middle, and Tom Wolfe really with no room to move around, and he had to shoot up and over him. He did make it that time. A nice move by Tommy, but that's the kind of harassment those guys have been giving him all day. Tom Wolfe at the line, he'll shoot one after converting that two-point effort. At 82-61, 21 is the lead. Brian Cirillo inbounds ahead to Dunn. A 3-on-2. Jimmy White slaps it away for Red. Jimmy's still hustling, and Jimmy giving it his all. And like I say, there's a guy, I think Jimmy's going to be, he didn't get selected to the All-Star team this year. One of the reasons being is that he's a first-year player. Keith stops at half court, in and out, and well, let me follow up. Jimmy White, the one guy running down the length of the court to try and hit in that miss. But I think Jimmy is the kind of guy we are going to see on that all-star team in the future. Okay, let's wrap this up. We don't have more than a couple of moments before the next game. Final score, 82 for the blue team, 61 for the red team. B.A., couple of final comments.
Just that the blue team looks real strong going into the next round, and you've got to remember that the top 2 teams out of the 6 teams in the under 30 division aren't even playing this week. They got byes. So the blue team, even though they look strong, still have a lot of tough teams to face on their way up the ladder.
I do think the blue team got a lot of help early from Mike Dunn, somebody that certainly a consistent player, but not a guy that you felt was going to go out there and get 10 of their first 20 points. I think that caused Red a lot of problems. I don't think they thought Mike would be able to do that. I think maybe some of their defense was based on stopping Cuppy and Rosenthal. When Mike did that, he did force the red team to make some adjustments. I think blue played real well. If they keep that kind of level of play up, they're going to be tough for anybody to beat. But the Wolfpack were nothing to be ashamed of. A real good effort. A couple of shots just really didn't get in. Once they got behind, they had trouble closing on these guys. And good ball game, I think. An excellent ball game. I think better, a lot closer really than the final score might have indicated, or at least the effort was a lot closer than the final score might have indicated. And on to the next game. Welcome back. This is the second game of our doubleheader. We have a couple of changes. Behind the scorebook will still be Ed Barrett, Russ Grimes. Referees now Tommy Love, Kenny Moltz, and the teams out here. First for the gray team, I guess, or white team. Unfortunately, one of them has a red and white shirt on. That's Paul Jurgensen. We have Scott Anastasi. We have Bill Davis, David Berry. And let's see. They're anxiously awaiting the arrival of Don Firestein, who's recently returned from vacation. Word has it he's literally called from the airport. He's on the way. I know this sounds a little hysterical, but believe me, that's the word we have. At the other end, for the dark blue team, we have John Green. We have Kevin Brooks, Joe Dennison, Jay McCall, the coach, John Marshall, Steve Lombell, and who am I leaving out? Mike Carter Jr., of course. We do have, let's see, Bill Davis is also over there, who I might have missed. So White does have 5 players now, but Eric doesn't look like he's dressed to play. I guess they are going to begin, though. The officials are pushing for us to begin, and Eric's going to come out on the floor. The unusual appearance, I guess, is that White does need 5 players to begin the game. Paul is just out there really for appearances. As soon as the game starts, we do see him leaving the floor. John Green attempting to shoot is blocked, knocked out of bounds. Is going to throw the ball into Bill Davis. Blue is starting out. Looks like man-to-man, and Jay McCall is going to try and double team where they can. Bill Davis loses the ball. Mike Carter Jr. pushes ahead. Steve Lombell comes down the baseline. Before he can get the shot off, he's fouled by Bill Davis. And it's going to be possession out of bounds. John Marshall will throw the ball in. White playing a 4-man zone. Jay McCall with the turnaround jump shot. 2-0 blue. And White obviously going to try and take as much time as they can. Now they got Jamie Kessler with the ball. Jamie out to Davis. And man-to-man out here. And again, Jay McCall is the loose man in the middle looking for the double team. Bill Davis dribbles, looking for help. Finds Scotty Anastasi. Scotty takes a jump shot, surprisingly. Misses, rebound Steve Lombell. I don't know that was in the game plan. Mike Carter pushes the ball up front. John Marshall down the baseline, maybe walked. Pass picked off by Jamie Kessler. Jamie with a nice bit of dribbling. And I think early in the game, I think I'd want Jamie to handle the ball as much as I could. In fact, almost exclusively. Now, Mike Carter being a good defensive player, that's going to cause him some problems. But Jamie really with good dribbling skills. Jamie takes a shot unadvisedly. Mike Carter with the rebound, pushes it ahead as quick as he can. Unselfishly to John Marshall. John misses the two-handed backhand. Jay McCall can't rebound. David Berry gets the rebound. 6:29 to play, and it's still only 2-0. Bill Davis up here.
Well, Ed, you can't reiterate enough the fact that the white team's only playing with 4 people out there. And if things start to deteriorate for the white team, I would call consecutive back-to-back timeouts since Firestein is limoing in from the airport as we speak.
I'm not sure limoing is exactly what Donnie's doing. I'm not sure how much money he has left from his vacation. But what surprises me is that White is going for a shot here as early as they seem to be. I realize that you just can't hold. Scott Anastasia with a nice drive down the baseline. Jay can't double up in time. Makes it 2-2. It's a tie game. White in this looks like a 2-2 zone. Nobody in the middle. John Marshall low on one side. The pass to Lombell. Steve Lombell shoots, hits it. Steve, one of the better shooters from the field for the White time. Bill Davis brings it up to Jamie Kessler. Jamie brings it back out to Bill Davis. Bill starts to penetrate. Jay picks him up. Pass to Scott Anastasia in the lane. Scott hustles in there. They're going to call a foul on Scotty. John Marshall gets knocked to the floor. And it's going to be Blue possession. 4-2, Blue in front. 5:32 to play in the first period. Mike Carter, the point guard. Steve Lombell in the center. Turnaround jump shot misses. Rebound John Marshall. John, left-handed hook. Rolls around and falls through. 6-2 now by Blue. And Blue still doing the same thing. White still doing the same thing. Kessler with the jump shot. Jamie Kessler bangs it home. 6-4. John Green will bring it up. Looks like Green and Carter are going to play guards. They post Marshall up in the middle. Mike Carter down the lane, right into that hole that's in the middle of the zone. That's where Firestein would usually be standing. But the absence of Donnie's presence certainly hurting right here. White with Bill Davis off the dribble to Kessler. Kessler getting trapped in the corner, takes the baseline, finds himself in trouble, can't get rid of it. Mike Carter pushing it ahead full steam all the way, coast to coast, Mike Carter. And another timeout, and here he comes. Don Firestein just entering the gym, I believe. Has dashed into the weight room. If we can get couldn't have held it for the 3 minutes this early in the game, despite the fact that it was 5-on-4, they would have had to give up 3 consecutive possessions, and Blue would have had to score on all 3. So they might have been better off, but they did come out aggressively. They are forced into action before Donnie gets out on the floor, and it's Blue ball. Donnie, I assume, dressing as rapidly as possible, should be coming in almost any minute. Steve Lombell again. Steve hits from the corner, and with only 4 guys, they're just not going to be able to cover that. So now they're down by 8. Bill Davis brings it up. Let's see if they hold. Jamie Kessler still trying to penetrate. Going down, long jump shot. Boom. Jamie brings it right back, though. 6-point game, 12-6. Steve Lombell getting down in a hurry to pass to him. To Jay McCall cutting down. Nice play. Bill Davis tries to draw the charge. Doesn't get there in time. Jamie Kessler with the ball again. Jamie driving on Donnie Mitchell. Donnie pulls him up. Scotty Anastasia up and over Joe Dennison, and Scott scores. Scott Anastasia is a surprise for these guys. Another first-year player, a guy that's had a strong impact, gotten better every game of the year. Out front, Kevin Brooks across to Jay. Whoa! Swatted away by David Berry. Knocked out of bounds. Holy moly! Great play by David Berry. The fans here are going crazy. John Marshall with a turnaround maneuver. Ball does not go in. John Marshall with the left call for the doubters. Referee Maltz. John Marshall at the line for 2. John a little long, a little hard on that one. 14-8, a 6-point game. And Donnie still not out of the 62% free throw shooter. John Marshall misses both of them. Blue on the tap, but knocked away by White. And, you know, I wonder why they didn't have 4 guys on the line. Jamie breaking to the sideline. Not really a smart play. 16-8. And Blue trying to take advantage of every second that they have the ball. And White still coming down and still shooting them up from outside. Rebound, Kevin Brooks. Pass ahead to Lombell. Lombell with the stop and shoot. Steve Lombell hits. And I think these guys are digging themselves too deep a hole. 18-8. And here comes Donnie now. Sneaker's not on. Bill Davis trying to back in. Jay looking for the double team. Steve Lombell gets the double team. Jamie gets the ball back with quick hands. Back to Bill Davis. Bill down the line. Running left-handed hook. It's long. Joe Dennison with the rebound. Knocked away. And looks like White maybe has a fast break opportunity to David Berry. And here's 2 for sure. David cans it. Gets them back to 8 points, and that was a big basket because Donnie will be ready to come in at almost any minute. I can't believe that White can't call a timeout now. Well, I think even at that last possession, he's out there. He's trying to get his sneakers on. Sure. And they give an easy one to Steve Lombell, and I don't know what they're waiting for. It looks to me like they might be figuring that there are more shooting opportunities if Donnie's not on the floor. But I can't think that, boy, I don't know. Scotty down low with the turnaround. Joe Dennison's going to foul him, and I think we should see Donnie now.
For the big stud to come back from vacation. As I said, he's tucking his shirt in his pants. Proud of the fact that he changed the Virgin Islands.
Well, I'm sure Donnie went down there with the best intent of perhaps changing the name. I'm not sure how successful he was. Long shot missed. Dave Berry, and now White's going to come out and run. Kessler down. John Green with the attempted steal, can't handle, and there he is. Donnie out there just a couple of seconds with the offensive rebound, foul from behind. And I'll tell you a couple of things about Donnie. Boy, they got to miss this guy. Really a force out there. 55% shooter from the field, and certainly one of the leaders on 48% from the line, a Georgetown-style player. Rebounding and scoring, B.A., how's he?
He's number 1 in the league in rebounding, 14 a game, and number 3 in scoring, 17.6, Ed.
So you can see the kind of impact player Donnie is, and I think also, even maybe more importantly, defense. Blew in there a little too soon, gives Donnie another chance. Donnie's stretching him out. But his intimidation factor on defense is also a big factor. He just really keeps the other team from coming down the lane. Donnie makes both of them then with a little help from John Green. 20-13, 7-point game. Steve Lumbell does not get the shot from the corner, which he has been getting. David Berry can come out and play him a little closer. Kevin Brooks over. Steve misses that one. Rebound by Joe Dennison off Jamie Kessler's fingertips. John Marshall out high on the high post. Kevin Brooks with the ball down low. John Green pivots across. John Marshall still on the high post. Inside, knocked away by David Berry. Donnie controls, and Donnie comes down the lane. Back to Bill Davis. Bill Davis with the jump shot. Missing 4 blue players go for it. Kevin Brooks comes up with it. And Kevin all the way down the lane misses. Dave Berry with an impressive sounding rebound. I'm not sure how impressive looking it was, but it sounded good. Pass into Donnie. Donnie with the jump hook misses. Steve Lumbell and Joe Dennison giving him some trouble out there.
Ed, I want to point out that Jay McCarl and Mike Carter are sitting on the bench now for the blue team. They're playing with 7 people, but that could hurt them. The 5 out there for the white team look very strong right now with Firestein joining them.
And White really not closing the gap to any appreciable extent. If they foul on Kevin Brooks, so David Berry will go to the line. When they sit down, Jay and Mike, certainly White should be thinking that this is the time where they're going to make some hay. They 7-point lead. Dave with a chance to narrow it a little bit. How's David look from the line, B.A.?
Well, his stats say that he's a 63% shooter from the line.
Dave with a nice touch. One of the leading scorers in the league with 14 points a game. David, a fine outside shooter. There's a nice touch. No metal on that. It's a 5-point game, and Kevin Brooks is going to bring it up. White in a 2-1-2 zone. Donnie Firestein in the middle. Scott Anastasia really gambling, coming far out from there. And again, same thing. Scotty with good hands. The attempted penetration pass into John Marshall knocked aside. Scott Anastasia looking so much better than he did when he first came up. Kevin Brooks long. David Berry with another big rebound. And there's no question White's looking to push the action here. Bill Davis going down the lane. And Bill going to the hole. And here's a real, he certainly looks up in the air to me, B.A. Kessler with the jumper, and I think it's going to count. Yes, it does. So, despite the fact that they're missing their horse for almost half the first period, 20-17, Blue leading. White has to be happy with what they see so far, I think, B.A. So fatigue can be one factor, obviously, but they're all pretty good shape. Bill Davis may be the fella that might suffer the most, but Bill is in good shape. There's a jump shot, a little long. Donnie comes in. Oh, and they're going to call it from coming over the back. There was some contact there. Ken Moltz with the foul is going to be blue on the side. That and foul trouble, and we see David Berry with 2 fouls, I think. Donnie with his first, Scott Anastasia with 1. So they, clearly, if any of those guys get in foul trouble, they're in trouble because they can't play defense as they would like to, and the other factor would be fatigue. But they've got a good 5 out there, and they're certainly playing all out. Nobody's out there resting. movement all over the court on White. With a conservative zone, they're really putting pressure on Blue. Blue is having trouble moving the ball. Anastasi's way out front. Kessler's way out front. They're showing a lot of hands. Bill Davis way out front. Firestein and Berry jumping around. There's Scotty trying for another steal. John Green down the baseline. David Berry knocks the pass away. Joe Dennison can't save it, and it's White possession. So a good defensive series for White. They get a chance to make it a one-point game. Jamie with the ball down the lane. And Mike Carter with the block. I believe a free throw shooting team, which is certainly not one of the league leaders. The blue team does have an edge there. They're a 64% free throw shooter. But Kessler, boy, that's a number that's hard to believe. Jamie Kessler, a 44% shooter from the line, but he's only 4 for 9. And Jamie does have well, let the camera tell the story. He's got a smooth-looking shot. 20-19, one-point game. Mike Carter with the ball. Carter at point, brings it up. John Green can't handle the pass. Oh, and they call Jamie for a reach. That's his first personal foul. And I think they're going to go to 1-on-1 next time around. But those are the kind of fouls that White simply can't give. They have to save them for something that really counts. Jay McCall with the attempted turnaround maneuver knocked out of bounds, and it's going to be White possession. Donnie with some nice defense in there. Bill Davis is going to bring it up for him. That's Jamie now dribbling. Jamie with the outside shot. And I'll tell you, Jamie playing with a lot of confidence. There was some talk during the All-Star game that Jamie was not playing with the confidence that he had last year, and some criticism of him. He missed a couple of shots early, but boy, he sure looks good out there today. There's a travel. Again, John Green having a little trouble with those passes.
Ed, Jamie Kessler's got 10 out of the 20 points for the White team, and that kind of statistic tells the story itself. But the first part of the second quarter has basically been characterized by good, strong defense, with Jamie Kessler scoring 4 points to tighten the margin ever so more. So it's 1 point margin in favor of the White team.
Yeah, there's John Green trying to pick up an offensive rebound, and absolutely, B.A., you hit it. White doing such a good job on defense, just jumping all over the court, getting into passing lanes, I think, especially, and causing problems. John Green controls the rebound, no harm done. And John pushes it up, bounce pass across to Steve Lombell. Steve hits it from the corner, and those guys operate so well. 2 young players also, 2 first-year players who are having big impact in the league. 2 excellent ball players. There's the switch back. David Berry with the ball. David with the outside shot, a little long.
A little out of his range.
And yeah, I think we've seen a couple of outside shots. Donnie with a long one before too, and Jay McCall hits one, and that's certainly in his range. 24-21. So now the White lead, which was 1, is now shrunk, disappeared. In fact, they're now down by 3 again. David Berry posting up against Steve Lombell. Nice turnaround. Firestein inside powers. Donnie call for the walk on trying the baseline move. And here comes Mike Carter pushing it up. Still 2-1-2 for the White team. No change. John Green sliding through. Lombell outside, doesn't like it. McCall with the turnaround. He's short. Rebound hit. Davis pushes it up. It's a 4-on-2 though, and Blue has the 4, so they'll hold it up. Back out to David Berry. He's going to ask him to set it up to Bill Davis. Bill Davis is going to bring it up top. Scotty to one corner. Davis drives left. Inside pass. Nice play. Can't go. David Berry turns around. Still doesn't go. Berry with his own rebound. David Berry scores, destroys his shooting average, but lifts his rebounding percentage considerably on that series. Dave had a couple of tough attempts because they were in heavy traffic. Blue fighting hard inside, but David with just a real aggressive effort. Mike Carter to John Green. John Green. Oh, and they're calling it. They're calling on number 4, Donnie Firestein.
Jay's a 62% free throw shooter, but that was a tough call on Donnie Firestein. I watched the action underneath, and like I say, you can't do it right in front of the referee. That's what gets you sometimes. Jay makes both ends of the one-on-one.
26-23, and more importantly, Donnie picks up his second foul, and also more importantly, if the game is going to be called that closely, having only 5 players is really going to be really a difficult thing for the White team to overcome. John Green pulls up, shoots, foul. Green, yes, an 80% free throw shooter. I think he's the 2nd leading free throw shooter in the league. Yeah, he's 80% right behind Jim McGinnis is 93. And John makes the first one, extends the lead to 4, makes the second. John 2 for 2 from the line, 28-23, 3:59 left in the second period. Both teams in the bonus now. Bill Davis holds up, between the legs dribble. John Green tries to take it away from him. Kessler to Anastasi. Anastasi pulls up, shoots the jumper, rolls around. McCall with the rebound, and McCall will push it down the center. Kessler harassing him from the side. Pretty pass inside. And Kevin, only having taken one free throw earlier in the year with no free throw percentage, and misses both of them. Rebound Kessler. Kessler pushes it between players. Brooks with the rebound, and Berry gets called. Berry, having picked up 3 fouls with only 3:29 to play, 3:29 still left to play in the second period, is really got to be a tough blow. Green comes in and gets the rebound. No, and now David will go to the line at the other end. I think they're going to have John Green coming up.
Free throw attempt by Kevin Brooks, especially after he'd missed 4 in a row. Doesn't speak well of everybody's concentration and determination to get the rebound. David Berry there making the first at front end of the one-on-one, hopefully pick up his confidence a little bit.
Yeah, excellent point. The ball's just not supposed to bounce in the middle of the lane like that. Somebody not doing their job, loss of concentration, perhaps looking for a break or whatever. David with a smooth touch. 28-25, 3-point game. Carter brings it up, 3:20 to play in the half. Over to John Green. John Green holds it out front. Inside to McCall. McCall with the turnaround jump shot. It goes. And I think Donnie just backing off just a little bit, very aware that his team can't afford free throws at this point. David Berry down the baseline. No doubt. Well, I'll tell you, we may mention the fouls being called, but certainly they're being called, both ways. It's just a tightly officiated game. The referees want to make sure that this one doesn't get out of control. Both teams very aggressive off the boards, and they're just going to make sure that if you hit somebody, they're going to go to the line. David now with a chance to convert a 3-point play.
Yeah, he's a 63% shooter from the line, and he converted that one to make it a 2-point ball game here. White confidence building back up, and could be 3 minutes left in the first half here. It'll go right down to the wire in the first half. Marshall with the rebound.
And again, John Marshall with a nice aggressive follow. Donnie laying off maybe just a little bit, not wanting that follow. John, though, playing real good, having a real good year. John's built himself up, gained 15 pounds or so, and it really has improved his play. Donnie carries it inside, and there draws the foul on John Marshall. On Jay McCall. Blue. Nice touch. And perhaps Donnie did a little work down the islands on his free throw shooting, because one of the sore points some of the folks up here have is that Donnie has done irreparable damage to some of the rims here, but he really looks smooth on that set. And the free throw shooting for White now, having made, I think, 6 out of the last 7, at least the last 5 in a row that I remember. John Green up and over. Extends the lead again now back to 4, 34-30. But White doing a nice job from the line, converting a couple of 1-and-1s with a 3-point play from Dave Berry. Donnie can't draw the foul. Steve Lumbell's pushing hard across. Kessler with a great play. Kessler I don't think he saw his man. I don't think he saw Scotty across to Donnie, and that's a good play when they get it back to Donnie, but I just don't think Jamie saw Scott ahead of him, and Scott way out in front. I don't see how White got 4 guys there, although I tell you, it was mighty close to 3 seconds for Donnie. John Green answers with that nice baseline jumper. 36-32, Blue able to keep it at 4 points. Bill Davis brings it up.
John's got 6 points in the second quarter, Ed, and he seems to be taking charge of that Blue offense quite nicely.
One of the things the Blue team usually looking to Mike Carter as their point guard, but John playing a guard spot, probably even more adapted as a forward, but John doing a great job out there at forward. Moves the ball well, penetrates really well. There you see him going for that rebound, going aggressively to the hoop, up and over, offensive rebound, back up, still doesn't go. Marshall with the ball. And again, you see Donnie just standing there with his hands up, afraid of drawing the foul. John Marshall controls, puts it back in, 38-32. Bill Davis with the ball.
Well, I don't know how conscious Blue is of the fact that they're doing exactly what they have to, because by taking the ball inside, they can create a foul situation, and White is just not challenging him. Joe Dennison there meeting his season average with his first 2 points of the night.
Joe dropping one home. Joe always playing that good aggressive defense, but hitting two from the baseline makes it 8. And this is Blue's largest lead since the opening minutes. Jamie Kessler, now, and that's the first time we've said Jamie's name out there as part of the regular offense in a while. Jamie very active on defense, but hasn't been handling the ball as much as they'd like. Marshall inside can't convert, and there's going to be a foul. That's going to be, yes, it is, John. Don't complain. We had in serious trouble. Donnie at the line again.
I'd say the refereeing is very consistent for both teams at this point in the game, Ed, and it's a very tight game. And of course, that works to the detriment of the White team, but it makes for a better game overall in the long run.
I think so. I think we'll see a much cleaner game. I think that especially as the game goes on, you're going to see guys get opportunities to take those shots inside that they might not have had in the first game, where a little more contact was being allowed. So Blue holding it here for one shot. 7, Carter goes down. They call steps first. So White will have one opportunity with, well, Click ran off there. The pass ahead. Smart play by Scotty. Kessler with the jump shot. Oh, it just doesn't go. A nice heady play by Scotty Anastasia, rolling that ball in to get the ball as far down court as possible and under the defender's hands. Okay, 40-34. That's the end of the first half. You want to give us a quick recap, B.A.?
Well,
the second half, and 40-34, Blue still ahead. Blue had the alternating possession. John Marshall in the corner with the jump shot, misses. Long, knocked out of bounds, tapped out of bounds by Steve Lombell, fighting for the rebound. Bill Davis brings it in. Davis will bring the ball up. Kessler at the other guard. There's no substitutions for White. They've still only got 5. Donnie Firestein in the corner. Back to Kessler up high. 3-second violation for White, and it's going to be Blue ball at the guards for Blue now. We have John Green. Mike Carter's going to play the point. John Marshall posting low. McCall back and forth at the other forward. Steve Lombell at the swing forward. Steve Lombell posted at the foul line, stolen away. David Berry gets the steal across to Davis. Davis brings it up. Scotty Anastasia out here now. Davis penetrating, looking to dish off to Firestein. And knocked out of bounds, I guess, by Jay. Donnie looking for the cutter. He's got Kessler. Oh, Jamie could have got it back to Donnie, but just didn't see that lane. There's the pass, and that's what they're looking for. Jay McCarlo can't do much except put his body in the right place, which is enough to just make Donnie miss. Steve Lombell with the offensive foul on the tip. Davis controls, but knocks it out of bounds. Davis, Blue, the Blue team with good action off the offensive boards and not fouling. And I'll tell you, and I was just gonna say, there's Donnie's third foul, and that hurts him. Jay having a good day from the line.
Yes, he is, and I was just gonna try to be humorous and say that jet lag is affecting Donnie's game, but in all actuality, it's an hour-and-a-half flight from the islands, and it probably is having a little bit of effect. He probably is a little bit tired out there. But the Blue team's starting to take off here as the second half starts. We're a minute and a half into it, and they've increased their lead to 8 points.
White can't control the rebound on Jamie's missed shot. Long lead pass off the rim. John Marshall, it was attempted for John Marshall. Green with the offensive rebound. In and out, and John gets the roll. Blue sending 4 and 5 guys. I think everybody but Carter under the boards that time. And that looks like what Blue's doing. They're sending 4 men to the boards. It is man-to-man. David Berry with the screen. Bill Davis with the jump shot. Bangs it home. Outside shooting for White, and that's not what they want to do. They did get the one good hook shot that Donnie took. John Green from behind. Donnie controls, and here's a break for White. Donnie will pass back, and Steve Lombell with a real nice play. Saves a bucket. Good defensive hustle by Steve Lombell, knocking the ball out of play. And Bill Davis down the lane, he's hammered. And how aggressive he'll be able to be.
Well, Jay's starting out with what you might refer to as his best 5 out here now. And this is where he wants to make his move. He wants to set the tone of the second half, and it's up to White to not let him make his move.
Tip by David Berry, by Donnie, and then control by Bill Davis. So White aggressive down at this end also. Both teams going to the boards good. That's the shot they want. Donnie's little turnaround hook. He can't make it, but Jay really can't defend against that shot. You just can't block it. A nice play by John Marshall. Nice drive by John Marshall down the left side. And again, Bill Davis backing off, knowing he had no opportunity to block it, and John was going up in the air. But they have been getting the ball into Donnie, and there's Jamie. Oh, partially blocked, I think, by John Marshall. Donnie down on the ground. Here's Mike Carter, loses it. They're going to call 3 seconds if Donnie doesn't get up. Scotty Anastasi with the finger roll. Donnie with the follow. He misses. McCall with the rebound. Spin move at the three-quarter court. Pass across the green. Can't control it. John Green, jump shot. Score 2 for John Green. A lot of action up and down the court, but the net result is a 12-point lead now for Blue. White with a couple of good chances and couldn't get anything to go. They tried David Berry from the wing. That's long. Marshall with the rebound. White relying much too much on the outside shot here. Can't get him to fall, and they're paying the price. Lombell with the ball. Across the lane. Passes inside. Green, turnaround. Jump shot again. John Green, great job inside. Timeout, White. They need one. It was really pressed into some real difficult situations there. Blue now man-to-man here. Carter playing Kessler. Kessler takes him. Carter with the block. Firestein controls. Powers it in, and 4 on Donnie. I think Donnie a little frustrated over missing the opportunity. That was the 3rd time he got the chance for that little jump hook shot, and still hasn't been able to control. Where White's 4 fouls, that's right. But where the 2 guys that can really help White on the boards, David Berry and Donnie, both with 3 fouls. White sending 4 guys to the boards consistently, and John Green always seems to be that open man. Steve Lombell, there's the pass. Yeah, Joe Dennison, but Joe maybe prevented a basket. It was a good hustle basket, yeah. But unless somebody really whips out something unusual, I think Joe probably has that contest locked also. Donnie missed the first one. And missed the second one. 1 short, 1 long. John Green, another with a big rebound. Scotty Anastasi almost with a steal. John Marshall brings it down. Joe is on the baseline. Good hustle play again by Scott. Scott almost forcing a turnover. They're down 14. White needs a move here. Bill Davis, jump shot, misses. Rebound Marshall. White just can't do what they want, and that's Kessler from behind. Yeah. James getting it up on the glass. They really don't have a lot of opportunity. Kevin Brooks can't hold on to that pass from John Green. And here's White with another opportunity. Donnie with the ball. Here's the move down the lane. Cut off. John Marshall with the reach in. Tip. Scotty Anastasi inside position. Nice play. Can't handle it. Donnie Firestein converts it, and the foul is going to be on. Okay, it's Kevin Brooks. I think that's his 3rd.
Well, that basket could be a big one in this game. From the standpoint that Donnie had been frustrated inside on many occasions earlier here in the second half, and that one finally went for him. And he goes to the line and turns it into a 3-point play, cutting the gap to 11 points. And this last 3 minutes of the 3rd quarter, I feel is very critical to the White team here, Ed.
Really is. Jay McCall resting on the bench now. White wants to close it certainly to single digits and probably even closer than that. And more importantly, I think, B.A., what you said, Donnie a little frustrated. John Green a little out of control there. Got the ball stripped away or partially stripped away. Jamie Kessler stops, pulls up with the jump shot, misses long. David Berry rebounds, takes it into John Marshall. John controls, and again, John backing off. White missing a real big opportunity right there. Jay McCall whispers a little advice to him as they come up. Kevin Brooks over to Joe Dennison, a little shaky there. John Green now moved down to a forward slot. Pass across, knocked out of bounds by Bill Davis. Good play by Bill. That cross-court pass, a very dangerous one. Kevin Brooks into John Marshall. John Marshall looked like he's going to stay up top, I think, now to control the ball. Yeah, John, there's a move down the bay. Oh, yeah, a little finger roll layup. And again, you can see Donnie unable to come out to challenge him. 13 points again, 157, Bill Davis with the ball. What I was going to say, though, is that's the first time when Donnie hit, and Well, Donnie makes that one, but we know that that's not the shot he really wants, or certainly not the one that his team wants. Courageous move by Donnie Firestein, but there was no doubt about it. Good refereeing again. He had confidence in the officials, knowing that they would give it to him. Took that charge, and excellent defensive play.
Got in position before Lumbell left his feet, and therefore the foul's on Steve. We have Mike Carter and McCarl back in the game now, and Marshall and Green sitting down. So what Jay's doing here is resting all of his thoroughbreds for the fourth quarter run. Rest assured, though, if this game ever gets closer than what the margin is now, 11 points, he'll put his best 5 in there in the fourth quarter when it counts.
Interesting call there. No, stripped away, but it's going to stay White. And there is a question, but Scotty Anastasi powers it up. Joe Dennison from behind. They're calling it close, but they're calling it good. No question, Joe on Scotty's back. Scotty going to go to the line.
3 on Joe.
And that's Joe's third foul. The two guys sitting down for Bluto were both were big impact players over the last couple of minutes. John Green with some major baskets. John Marshall doing a super job off the boards. Scotty drops them through, makes it 10 points, and this will be the first time in a while that it's been 9 or fewer if he makes this one. And that's what White's looking for. Single digits again, single digits. And you know, White has a lot of advantages with the matchups. If you don't count the four fouls on Donnie, which you can't ignore, obviously, but they look like they have a stronger team out there. Jay McCall with the turnaround. Blue tries to save it. Blue's on the line, and White with a chance to go to 7 now. Joe Dennison with a little pressure, but nothing serious for sure. And look, I tell you, White wants the ball. Everybody out there wants the ball. This team is hungry. They think they can win. We have a White player down on the floor. It's Dave Berry, and they're not going to give him a timeout. They're throwing ahead to McCall. McCall across to Carter. Carter tries to penetrate. The shot misses. Firestein rebounds. 4 on Jay McCall. And this is going to come right down to it. We're still not in the fourth period. And well, first of all, let's make sure David Berry's okay, because he went down hard. He was holding his head. And good BA, the foul on Jay.
Well, it would have been Donnie's 5th foul. As it was Jay's 4th foul, and that could have gone either way, no doubt about it. Jay protesting the call, which is out of character for him. He thought he had position, pointing out to Tom Love where he was standing, and Donnie, of course, not saying a word, just proceeding to make 2 foul shots.
And now we're looking at a 7-point game. Steve Lumbell loses the handle. Big break here for White. Back inside to Firestein. They're going to call an offensive foul on Scott Anastasi. White with a chance they had Donnie under the basket on a 3-on-2 situation. Great opportunity. 30 seconds to play in the third quarter, 52-45. And what you said is really correct. But here, now look at this. We've got down at the other end, Jay's sitting, I'm sorry. So we don't have that. Scotty with a real good attempt for the steal. Bounce pass to Joe Dennison in the corner. That's short. White rebounds. Jamie Kessler stripped away. No. Bill Davis ahead. 7 seconds. David Berry down the lane. John Green with the foul. David Berry will go to the line.
You're on it.
David Berry makes the first shot. And a big call there with just 4 seconds to play. David going down the lane. John Green called for the foul. David drops both of them. It's a 5-point game. Long pass to Joe Dennison. Joe across to Brooks. Brooks with the jump shot right at the buzzer. Kevin Brooks gets back 2 of them for him. So that turns it back to 7. Point lead. Kevin Brooks hitting one right at the buzzer. Jay McCall opening up on the bench with 4 fouls. White naturally having to play with Donnie. Now we see a big change. Donnie with the ball inside in the post. Pretty pass to Scotty Anastasi. David Berry assist, and David Berry, give him a lot of credit for keeping his eyes open. Scott Anastasi running the baseline and opening up there. Pass across to Steve Lumbell to Joe Dennison. White still zoning, 2-1-2. Blue playing man-to-man. Steve Lumbell drives. Mike Carter down the lane. Nice jump shot. Pretty bank by Mike Carter. Mike doing a big job for him also. Handling the ball well. Bill Davis brings it up again. Bill down the lane. He gets a layup. Doesn't get the roll. Donnie controls. Donnie, you know he wants to go up with it. Passes back out to Scotty. Scotty misses. Kevin Brooks. Lead pass ahead. Joe Dennison. Joe can't control. It'll go back White. Maybe Blue a little too aggressive on that one. Looking for that one that's too easy. Bill Davis again. 56-49, 7-point game. Jamie Kessler trying to post up Mike Carter. There's the crisscross. There's Donnie coming through. Scotty open onside. John Marshall leaves his man, comes across, and really swats one. Jay over there talking with John Green. We thought there was going to be a sub. There wasn't. Pass to Jamie. Jamie across the key. Stops. Davis with the ball. Davis looking for Donnie. Misses. Oh, nobody goes for it. Scotty comes up with it. Travel on Scotty Anastasi's the call. And they're going to hold the clock while referee Moltz puts it in play. Mike Carter brings it up now.
And I think one of these stories in this game is going to have to be David Berry. He's only got 2 foul shots in the whole second half, and he's not even looking for a shot. He's making some good passes, but in order for the white team to be a factor in this thing, he's going to have to score some points here in the fourth quarter.
David with a big rebound there, but that's absolutely right, B.A. He's got to... I would think he'd be one of the guys they'd look to, especially with White collapsing as they are on Donnie. If they, when the ball gets in low, your Blue is dumping 3 guys in there. David's got to be open. Now, Steve is doing a good job on him. You have to give him that. Jamie Kessler, nothing but net, and that'll open him up a little bit. 5 points now, 56, 51, 546. Big question is, how long does Coach McCall stay on the bench with John Green? 2 big players for them. How long does he stay there? I know he doesn't want to foul him out. Rebound again, Berry. And I'll tell you what, I think if White scores this time, you may see McCall or Green or both. And there's a foul by Brooks. Okay. And we're back on now. Jamie Kessler at the line. Jamie gets a roll off the front rim with a pretty touch. 4 points, 56-52. We did see John Green come in now for Kevin Brooks after that last foul. 4-point game, 5:31 to play. He bangs them both home. 56-53. I think this is going down to the wire, B.A. The only thing, we mentioned, even if Jay does come back in and pick up the 5th foul, Blue still has a competitive team out there. If Donnie gets his 5th foul, obviously the game is over. David Berry with the 3rd big rebound down at this end for his team, and they're pushing it up court. Steve Lumbell looks maybe a little tired. He's been chasing Berry all quarter. Kessler shooting with authority, but just off the rim. Lumbell with the rebound, and here's Mike Carter pushing it up front, and boy, he can really motor. Lumbell loses the ball, and there's a reaching foul on David Berry. That's 4. John Green with the ball in the corner, and we might mention that Jay McCall has re-entered the game. John Green hits it from the corner, and there is a timeout, official timeout. They're going to wipe up some moisture on the court. We do want to mention that we're running a little short of film, and so we are cutting during dead time to try and make sure that we get the entire game in. Bill Davis outside, Dave Berry inside to Donnie Firestein. Donnie down the lane, up and around, no call. John Marshall rebounds. Jay McCall's bringing the ball up. And maybe because of foul trouble, they were going to move Jay out. No, Jay's back down on the baseline. He was just bringing it up for the moment. Mike Carter across. Jay with the pass inside. Works out okay, though. Rebound Marshall. And John Marshall with the little right-handed hook move underneath. And spreads it back out to 7. 4:12 to play. 60-53. Blue team ahead. Blue still man-to-man. John Green playing Bill Davis. Steve Lumbell doing a great job on David Berry. Davis with the running one-hander. Misses off the side of the backboard. Marshall controls. Blue's going to slow down. 3:53 to play. 7-point lead, Blue. Jay McCall out top. White still in that 2-1-2 zone. John Green with the jump shot, and John has been deadly all day long. Gets the roll. Timeout, White. 3:40 to play, 62-53. Lead is stretched to 9 points. Kessler, they clear a side for him. He's rejected by Carter into Firestein. Can't control it. McCall not doing anything more than standing there, and it's 3 seconds is right. Donnie was in there. He just couldn't get a handle on the ball. You saw Jay doing nothing but taking up room inside, trying to hold him off. Big possession changeover. White really needed the basket. Great defense by Mike Carter also. John Green can't hit that one. Rebound, though. He's going to get that one. John Green with the offensive follow. Good work on the inside. Jamie looking for somebody. I think Scotty doesn't find him. Ball across court. 11 points, 3 minutes to play. Something better happen soon for White to have a chance here. And I don't know what they're really going to do. They don't have a lot of things they can do. Even if they choose to foul to slow things down. Jay McCall in and out. Donnie controls, and he's going to go right at him. He's going to go right at him. Oh, I got to believe that was a mistake. Jay's got 5 fouls. He gets him in the open court. I got to take him right to the basket. Jay's got 4 fouls, and look for that 5th one. Well, it's a tough call. Donnie trying to do the unselfish thing and dish it off, but I think that would have been an excellent opportunity. The hardest kind of defense is to play backing up like that, which is what Jay would have had to do. White now going to man-to-man in an attempt to put some pressure on the ball. David Berry tries to switch off and trap. Donnie's playing Jay, knocked away. There's the steal that White was looking for. Ahead to Bill Davis. Bill Davis taking it in, pass to Donnie. Nice play. Donnie with the turn, knocked out of his hands. Back up and in. Now, I think it was 5, Blue in front, 9-point lead. Scotty Anastasi playing John Green. Jamie Kessler over the double team. Knocks it away. John's going to let it go out of bounds. It's going to stay blue. They'll stop the clock, and they'll throw it back in bounds. White or Gray, obviously, playing man-to-man. You're going to see a lot of double-team pressure, and especially you're going to see it from Scotty and from Jamie. Donnie with 2 fouls, with 5 fouls, 4 fouls, excuse me, can't do much, and David Berry with 4 fouls can't do much, except screen their man.
Well, both teams are in the bonus, and I was wondering how long it was going to take for the White team to foul somebody out there. You know, while you're dribbling around the perimeter, there's no other alternative except to run the clock out. You have to foul somebody, and they finally foul Mike Carter. And Mike this year is a 57% free throw shooter.
Steve Lumbell with the foul, and that's the one thing Blue doesn't want to do. Just as you pointed out, BA, the one thing that White wants to be sure of is to foul the first opportunity they get by one of the guys that can foul. Every time Blue fouls, they do 2 things. They stop the clock, and they bring the ball down the other end, and no time goes off the clock. So 9 points, Donnie at the line. If he makes 2, it's 7. But almost a half a minute's gone since the last scoring opportunity.
Well, Mike Carter is the guy to foul out there for the Blue team. The rest of the guys are all above 60%, except for Mike. So they're fouling the right guy anyway, and he did miss it. So Donnie made the front end of the one-on-one. Makes both.
And that closes it down to 7. Carter bringing it up against Kessler, and you get the feeling, here comes the foul. No, they can't get to him. Donnie can't foul him. Ooh. Oh, yes, he does. God. Yes, he does, and
you gotta ask the question.
I don't think Donnie knows that's 5.
Maybe it isn't. Maybe I'm wrong.
Could we?
That's it. It's 4.
It's only 4. So here we are making a major foo-poo. But that's okay. That's okay, because I'm sure it made the game more dramatic for you viewing fans. And maybe we'll invent something else here before this game is over. John Green knocked away. That's before the shot. John getting up on the backboard, but that was for dramatic effect only. The ball was knocked away by Bill Davis. A good hustle play after Gray lost the ball down this end to prevent that layup. And you know, now I'm just thinking that his opportunity, if he only had 3 fouls, to come down here and force Jay into committing that 5th foul when they had that fast break opportunity, now that even looms larger. He could have done that a minute and a half or 2 minutes ago. 66-57, 9 points, 1:14 to play. Kessler's going to look for something. A bad pass. John Marshall with aggressive defense comes out and gets it. David Berry gets him, and let's see if that's 5. Yeah, that's 5 for David. Okay.
Oh, we had a foul. See, we gave one to Firestone. It should have gone to Berry. Right?
I see. Well, that is Dave's 5th foul. He goes out of the game. His team behind by 9 points. In a sense, Mike Carter hits one, and every one now that takes him from odd back to even, and that means another possession. Mike hits them both, and White's running out of things to do. BA.
I think it's a significant point that David Berry is over there oiling up his softball mitt. doesn't speak well of White's chances in this last 58 seconds. But Donnie Firestein, never say quit type coach, realizes that he's not on the airplane anymore and sinks 2 points to close the gap between the two teams to 9 points. But with 58 seconds left, it looks like the McCarl's Doc Sox blue team will be moving on to the next round of the playoffs.
Let's go back to Scotty Anastasi trying to foul right on the toss-in. 68-59. It's a 9-point lead. We're going to go down here and send John Green to the line. I'm sure that there's talk on the white bench about who to foul, but as you mentioned earlier, everybody out there is a good free throw shooter. John Marshall 62, McCall 62, Lombell 68, Green 80, Carter 57. So John with a little short, and ahead to Davis. Pass cross court to Kessler. Whoa! And Jamie misses it, and John Green right up on the rim. Mike Carter loses control, attempting to pass to Jay McCall. Scotty Anastasi with the dive. You can tell these guys aren't quitting. They're going head first into the. Jamie with the steal, a lazy pass across court. Follows, shoots, tipped away. Steve Lombell with the rebound. Bill Davis with the foul. 68-59, and they'll send Steve Lombell to the line. Bill Davis with the foul. White's tired out there, there's no question. Jamie with a couple of great hustle plays, just couldn't get the ball to fall. 36 seconds to play, 9-point game. Good game for both these clubs, BA. Steve Lombell pops one in. Makes it a 10-point game, 69-59, 36 seconds still to play. Misses the second. Donnie pads the rebound total ahead to Jamie. No three-point line here, folks. Mike Carter again with a block. Bill Davis again with the foul.
A little bit here in the fourth quarter. It's been a long game for the white team with 5 guys running up and down the court. But they're not quitting. They're going to cut it. They could cut it to single digits here, but there's only 20 seconds left. So John Green putting a nail in the coffin here, but he can't make it go. And point guard, the coach and other world traveler Donnie Firestein trying to make it happen. There's a 4-on-0, and there's 2 points. We're down to 5 seconds, 4, and the blue team will be moving on to the next round of the playoffs.
Well, great finish. Little tough at the end. White team fouling out 2 players, but blue consistently keeping up the level of play. Both of the teams then that move on. Mike Rosenthal's team winning the first game. In this game, Jay McCall's team moving on. And next week they're gonna meet 2 squads who had the buys for this week. The 2 top finishing teams. Ken Adrian's squad featuring Ken Moltz, John Novak, and let's see. Bill Love, Andy Leginzi, Billy Mims, Paul Lupkert, and Russ Grimes. And the other team will be Jim Weisgerber's team. Jimmy's team led by Jim McGinnis, Danny Gore, Tony Cecil, Ricky Berry, Donnie Mitchell, I believe it's Paul Eberhardt, Jimmy Weisgerber, naturally, who's injured and won't be able to play, and Kenny McTurk. Once again, a wrap-up. We want to thank Jim McGinnis on the camera. We want to thank Russ Grimes and Ed Barrett at the scorekeepers table, and Steve Cuppy and Dave Sissel on the stats, our official statistician for the evening. And naturally, I want to thank you, BA, for an enjoyable time. I had a good time watching these games. I hope the folks at home enjoy them. What impressed you about these squads tonight? If we have a little more film out there, we'll run it just for a moment. And what do you think is going to be the outlook for next week?
Well, if you're sitting on the sidelines and you're one of the teams that didn't have to play this week, you have to be fearful of the fact that both teams that were victorious won by significant margins, and they seem like they're going to be tough to stop. You look at the 2 MVPs, John Green and Steve Cuppy, they both were awesome, and they were supported by a strong supporting cast. I got to look at Jay's team and say that he's going to have a tough time on the rotation. He's got a 7-man squad that he doesn't have he has the luxury of having guys on the bench, but he he can't always keep his 5 strongest players in the game. Some of these other teams seem like they're operating with 5 or 6 guys down the stretch here, and if they can really get it clicking, they might be tough to stop. But certainly 2 strong teams will not be playing next week, and we'll have to wait till next year to do something, and that is the Firestein squad and the Tom Wolfe squad. And you look at 2 of the most dominating big men in the under 30 league are no longer in the tournament, and that tells you that it's up to a balanced squad to take it all the way to the championship round.
Well, we didn't mention a couple of the guys that were missing today, and we certainly don't want to overlook them. Mike Rosenthal's team will add Dave Sefcik next week. Dave, I believe, their 3rd leading scorer, guard, forward, good aggressive ball player, works real good penetrating with the ball, good shooter, excellent defensive player. Donnie Firestein obviously sorely missing Joe Lannon tonight. Joe, a strong player off the boards and unable to be here because of other commitments. What can we tell you? Jimmy McGinnis's team, actually Jim Weisgerber's team. Jim Weisgerber hurt earlier in the year, still coaching the team, but unable to play. Had a knee operation just last week. Jim Weisgerber, yeah. But hopefully Jimmy will be back to 100% for next season. They're led by Jimmy McGinnis, a 93% free throw shooter, one of the real bright statistics in our league. Danny Gore, a guy that is an excellent penetrator. Tony Sissel, tough man off the boards. Ricky Berry, good point guard. So we'll see that squad, and naturally we mentioned Kenny Adrian's team. Kenny, 19-point scorer. Bill Love, Kenny Moltz, a lot of good ball players here. So, well, we want to thank you.